Hey guys, what's up? I am back. I know last week I kind of took a break. I shared on my Instagram a little bit that just last week was really draining and I was just really discouraged and just didn't really have it in me to make a video. Um, but we're back. Today I'm sitting in my unmade bed in a t-shirt. So this is real. This is me this week. So for this week, I'm not actually going to talk about a scripture. I'm actually going to talk about a topic that I had a couple people ask me about, and it's something that I'm pretty passionate about. And with graduation from college having just happened in high school coming in the next week or so, I don't really know when high schoolers graduate, but it felt fitting to kind of use this as a time to talk about this. So several people asked me to talk about the transition out of college and what that looks like with your faith, with your friends, just like in general with like yourself, like your inner being. And I'm really passionate about this. If you have gotten dinner or whatever with me in the last 2 years, I've probably talked about it because I just feel like I was really failed, no offense to Lipscomb, in being prepared for what was going to happen when we get out of college. And so I've just gotten really passionate about talking about that with people and just trying to do my best to like find spaces to help people in that transition. I'm still very much in that transition. But I also in the last year have just started to realize how much transitions and changes never end. I don't love change. I don't love things feeling uncertain and unsteady. And so, like, in a perfect world, like, I would have, like, the natural stages of, like, teenage, college, adult. But once I hit adult, like, it continues forever, you know? And that's just not how life is. And when I was in school, one of the things that they talk about a lot as being youth ministers is the stages of adolescence. And so there's like the 3 questions that you ask as a teenager and that you're trying to solve, and that's where like that's how you relate to students, is how they answer these questions. So like one of them is, where do I belong? Like, do my choices matter? And then, who am I? Like, what's my identity? And I just like have started to realize that, like, yes, obviously those are super important in understanding teenagers, but those are questions that we ask and re-ask at lots of times in our life. And it would just be really helpful if we just like kind of saw that and identified that and just said like, it's okay. I feel like culture and society and church and all these different places kind of scream this idea at you that once you get to be an adult, like, you have it figured out. And that was like a lie that I definitely believed and still believe on occasion, probably more than I would like to admit, is that I'm supposed to have it figured out, and if I don't have it figured out, then like something's wrong and I haven't made it and I'm like broken because of that, if that makes sense. And that's just not true. Like, you're never really gonna have it figured out, and no matter where you're at in life, like, you're gonna continue to ask those questions of, where do I belong? Do my choices matter? And who am I? And that's okay. And like, that's where having like a really strong foundation comes in, is like when you ask those questions over and over again in your life, like, you're constantly falling back on, like, at the core, like, I am a child of God, and everything that I do like flows out of the fact that I am a child of God, and that's like your centering truth for yourself, that you can hold on to. So just like, I don't really know how to like structure this video. I'm gonna like talk about a couple of things that like change, and I think it does apply a lot to high school seniors just as much as it does, or high school graduates just as much as it does college graduates. The first thing is just to like be okay with feeling weird. And that's like the only way I know how to describe it, is like, in my first year out of college, I just remember waking up every day and just feeling so weird, and not like good, not bad, but like just feeling so out of place and feeling like I didn't like know what to do, and that was like so disheartening for me because I felt like I was the only one that felt that way. And that's where social media becomes really tricky, is like I was like looking at all these people that I graduated with, and I just like felt like they all had like kind of figured it out and I was behind, and but I wasn't. And the more I got to talk to people who I graduated with, the more I started to realize that like we were all feeling the same way. And so just know that like it's okay to like mourn, like part of leaving college, part of leaving high school, like you have to grieve that innocence and grieve the way life used to be, because for me and for a lot of people I know, like college was so great that like to be out of it was really hard, and for other people college isn't so great and they have to kind of grieve the fact that like maybe those hopes that they had for college, that kind of stuff, like to grieve that didn't take and that wasn't what happened. And giving yourself grace in that is really important too. So that's number one. It's okay to feel weird and out of place and strange. Number two is it's okay that your relationships change. That was probably the hardest thing for me, was that all of these relationships, all these friendships that I had all started to take new shapes, and like thankfully like I am still friends with all my friends from college, I think. And that is like such a blessing, and I'm really thankful for that. But all of my friendships have changed. I love to tell a story. Just as an example, when we graduated, Sierra's mom asked her like what she thought her friendships were gonna do, how they were gonna change, and she told her mom that she thought me and her wouldn't be that close anymore, like after a year or whatever. Which is so funny because we wound up being closer now than I feel like we were when we were in college, and we were still like really close in college. So you just have to be okay with the fact that your friendships are going to shift, they're going to change, they're going to find new spaces, and that is like okay. And you have to just like, again, you have to kind of grieve like the old way, and step into a new way and find new ways to connect and new ways to be intentional in your friendships and in your relationships, because it is different. You go from living 5 feet away from these people and having the same schedule, doing the same things, and then all of a sudden you're not anymore, and it's hard, but you just have to figure it out, and it's okay. And I think that was like what I was the least prepared for, was like the way my friendships changed. But they're good, and like I'm very thankful. I feel like my friendships are a lot more mature now, and a lot healthier now than they were when I was in college, and I'm just really grateful for that. So you just have to persevere through it, and it's hard, and don't be afraid to find people to talk to about these things. I will always talk to anyone who wants to talk to about it, because I believe it's like such a hard thing and such a hard transition, but find people to have those conversations with, because it's just really important to do that. 3, your relationship with the Lord changes, and church changes. Those are probably next to my friends. Like that was the second hardest part for me, was like which my college experience was a little different, because my last 2 years of college I was working in a church, and so I didn't really ever connect with a college group or anything like that when I was in college. But I got out of college and just felt like there wasn't really a place for me to go. And I was super blessed that my parents moved to Nashville when I graduated, and I started going to church with them. But like even that was like weird, because I'm an adult, and yeah, church is hard, and I won't shy away from telling you it's hard. I take it back. Church is the hardest part for me about being post-grad. A lot of churches haven't figured out yet how to reach the college grad age, and I have been working really closely with the church to try and figure out how to navigate that, how to make that happen. And even as someone who's super passionate about it and like wants to help figure it out, like it's so hard, and it's just really hard. And so like I just like think that like the best thing is to find a place and settle and just like do everything you can to connect. Go with your friends, find a couple people who are interested in the same kind of church as you, and go together and just be consistent and grow that consistency. Let people see your face on Sunday mornings and just try to find ways to be engaged. If you want to talk church, reach out to me about that. You're always welcome to come to church with me, and I would really truly love to talk to you about what the church I go to is doing. But anyways, church is hard, so finding ways to connect and just finding community is different too. Which people who didn't go to a Christian school, this would be very different, I'm sure, but going to a Christian school, I didn't really have to be in a small group to be filled spiritually, because my friends were almost like my small group, which probably wasn't very healthy. But I was constantly getting to have those conversations, and they were my accountability, and I lived with them. So if I came home crying, I couldn't get away with it. Like, they were asking me about it. And now finding spaces to cry and be alone, and no one ever knows that that's what was happening and that I was sad, it happens more often because nobody's watching me. And so finding core people to still walk in faith with and take a leap of faith and join a small group, or just be bold in that, because everyone feels uncomfortable, everyone feels awkward, and you'll find a way eventually. This probably wasn't super encouraging. Maybe it was. I feel like I just talked about negative things the whole time on this video. I'm probably gonna have to make a part 2 about this because it's already 12 minutes long, and I'm not trying to like kill people over this, but that's just like kind of how it is. And again, like, if you want to talk, if you want to like just find someone to talk to, if you want to talk about church, if you want to talk about, you know, friendships and relationships, like whatever it is, feel free to reach out to me or reach out to your friends. And just like, honesty is truly the best way to get through that season of life. And I mean, I'm still in it. Like, this season of life is being honest, being vulnerable, and just speaking the truth when you need to, and allowing other people into those spaces in your heart. So anyways, that's this week's video. Kind of how I've seen like the transition of out of college, out of high school go, and just things to be prepared for, and ways to hopefully be more prepared than I was, because I felt like a chicken with my head cut off. So yeah, there you go. T-shirt, unmade bed. This video was simple and not as much about the Bible, but there you have it. Have a great Thursday.